This is the Seahawks podcast. I'm Brandon Schultz, joining you live for this post-game victory show with my good buddy Adam Emmert. Adam, our Seahawks score 17 points in the fourth quarter to run away with a 31-17 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers, an 8-game road winning streak for our Seahawks.
Hey, they sure did score 17 points in the fourth quarter. And what did Adam Amin say there in the broadcast? That it'd been 45 years since a team had scored, the kicking team had scored on a kickoff. It felt like 45 years since we've won in freaking Pittsburgh. It's awesome. I'm fired up. I know you are too, man. Where do you want to start? What's got you excited after this big victory over the Steelers?
Well, let's start with Samuel Gelber coming in with a $9.99 super chat, gunning for that live executive producer first slot of the day. Going to be driving to my folks' place, but awesome win. I think K9 is a keeper. Well, since Sam started with K9, how about we start with our guy, Adam Kenneth Walker on the day. Finishes with 13 carries, 105 rushing yards, and he delivers the dagger in the fourth quarter as the Seahawks on a 3rd and goal from, the 19-yard line? And he's able to, it's a toss running play that had not worked the entire day, and K9 delivers the touchdown and helps deliver the win.
Absolutely. And it hadn't worked all day, and I'm not even sure that's the fault of either back. Just it wasn't there, happened to be there on that play. I think it caught the Steelers off guard, to be honest. But K9 had a massive day, and I don't know about you, Brandon, but it feels like there was some meat left on the bone there. I feel like K9 could have had closer to 200 yards today if given the opportunity to do so.
If given the opportunity. This day, you talk about sharing the workload and how it's last week you talked about Zach being the hot hand. Why don't you go with Charbonnet? And this week, Ken was clearly the hot hand, and yet you had Charbonnet 15 carries. He gets 10 yards. Like the exact opposite. It was like every time you handed it to K9, there were holes for him to run wide open through. And every time Zach got the ball, it was like all the holes shriveled up and he was running into nothing.
No, Sharps was dancing too much. He was dancing too much. That's why, and we need to trade him immediately and just go with K9 completely from here on out. But I say all that tongue in cheek because we've heard so much about that regarding K9 and his success or lack thereof at different times. But yeah, it is perplexing to me that we don't establish that hot hand and then just ride it throughout the game. Right. In the middle of the third quarter, when things got a little dicey there for a minute, like I was getting so frustrated because they threw Charbonnet back in, and that was kind of the story of the day, I think, offensively, Brandon. Some ups and some downs and some inconsistency and some head scratchers.
Yes, the offense a little bit inconsistent. Not inconsistent is our live executive producer, Ryan911, with the $9.99 super chat. I don't want to get too excited after one game, but maybe we shouldn't cut Cooper Kupp yet either. And Kupp on the day, he finishes 7 receptions, 90 yards. They were attacking the middle quite a bit with Kupp. I'd say, though, of the receivers, the more impressive game clearly came from JSN, and that catch down the middle where Jalen Ramsey was all over him, and I'm dragging behind him, and he still fights through it and catches that ball to get it down inside the red zone. That was, to me, the play of the game from any of the pass catchers.
Oh, by far. JSN was so clutch in so many different moments, especially on third down. And, big shout out to the Snail gifting 5 memberships there. That's amazing, man. Make sure you guys turn on whatever the thingy is so that you can claim those. And if you don't know, I can't help you. But JSN was fantastic today. I thought he was the stabilizing force in this offense for the majority of the day, the guy that you could really count in, down out. And it was awesome to see. JSN had a whale of a game. In regards to Kupp, it was fine. It was fine. I just
he didn't have any big drops like last time. He caught the pass. I mean,
the one great third down conversion on the comeback where they decided not to cover him at all. He also,
I'd agree with you. Yes, it was a lot of just throw and catch to the open receiver, but he was getting open, and they were attacking the middle of the field with him. So I thought that they found he had a much better game because they used him better.
Yeah, I also think the Steelers were completely unafraid of Cooper Kupp and just decided not to give him any attention. A lot of his yards came on the one pass there at the end of the first half when they're in 2-minute drill, and they run everybody back and play in prevent, and they dump it off to Kupp, and he runs for like 35 yards, and it's like, woo.
Okay.
He was fine. He was fine. Honestly, you hit Tariq Young on that same pass, and it's probably a 45-yard gain because he can still run. He was fine. He was fine.
Saying Kupp's yards after the catch was solid. Shane Turner Acoustic coming in with the $2.99 super chat as well. And I know Shane mentioned that he's got to hop out and listen back later. So appreciate Shane for coming in and dropping in a donation for us. And Adam, we can argue back and forth over, who had the better game on offense, who really stepped up on offense. The story of this game, and we could touch on the special teams play that really allowed our Seahawks to take that commanding lead then in the fourth quarter, which was a bonehead play by the Steelers. But it was our Seahawks defense that was the story all game long.
Oh, man. It's been the story of the season so far when you stack the two games together early on. The defense has been very good, very consistent, and dialed in. And even with Spoon being out and relying on Kendrick, which I know a lot of people in the comments are sitting here saying you need to eat crow over Cooper Kupp at this point. No.
You need to eat crow over Darion Kendrick.
Yes, that I need to eat crow over because, Brandon, to your credit, you brought it up in the pregame preview, and we're talking about what the difference he could make is. He even said something about an interception. I laughed and said, no. And, boy, Kendrick really showed out today. I thought he had a really nice performance. Needs to catch that first one because it was like right in his face mask. But even still, like a very good game, and good job by you.
Yeah, Darion Kendrick. He does drop the one that was thrown right to him, but he's able to pick the one off the ground from the throw to the end zone from Aaron Rodgers, and that was a really big swing in the game, right? Because the Steelers were right there knocking at the door in the end zone. The Seahawks able to get the turnover. They come away with no points, and that's kind of how it was for both offenses throughout the day. They would get into position to score some points, and something would happen, whether it was a turnover, whether it was a missed field goal. There were just a lot of. I felt the offenses kind of played to stalemate because they each made the types of moves that allowed the other team back in it throughout the day. Nate Smeltzer saying Olu came in and filled Sundell's shoes for the K9 run. Yeah, Sundell, bummer to see him going out. Carly Perkins coming in with a $4.99 super chat. I felt the whole game like we were the better team and was thrilled to be right. This just needs some time to find its groove, and we will be unstoppable. And I think to Carly's point here, it did feel like we were the better team because of the way that we were able to dominate the line of scrimmage.
100%. Another really smart comment from Karkar here. We were the better team all day. And then you had mentioned the idea of the offenses kind of playing each other to a stalemate, and that's true, but they did it in totally different ways.
Right.
The Seahawks were a couple of mistakes in terms of interceptions and then a block/miss field goal. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Some people were saying that it may have been tipped.
I think someone said Ramsey tipped it.
Maybe. Yeah, I haven't gone back and looked. So either way, a mistake. Whereas the Steelers, the problem with their offense and why they couldn't get going today, they were completely one-dimensional again. The Seahawks run D absolutely stymied them all day. I know Warren had the one nice dump-off catch, but in terms of – and I mean,
yarder.
Yeah, but in terms of the run game, there was nothing there. The Seahawks defense was smothering. And then, as you mentioned on the back end, with Kendrick and Love and Kobe and Job and even Woolen, having nice day and really making it tough on old man Rodgers all day. It was awesome. It was awesome. And not only that, but Lisa's been in the comments saying that we need to talk about a player, and she's right. Derek Hall, man. Derek Hall was creating pressure all day. He was a man amongst boys. I think Aaron Rodgers will be dreaming of Derek Hall tonight. I do.
Yeah, it was a bummer to see Derek Hall kind of limping around after the game with maybe a knee injury or something, but Derek Hall had a whale of a game. Byron Murphy had 3 hits on the quarterback.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Derek Hall had the 2 quarterback hits. Murphy had 3, Leo had 2, and including one where it seemed like Aaron Rodgers stopped to run in to Leonard Williams. I don't know if he was trying to think about how to get around him, but it was just kind of a funny move by Aaron Rodgers to go ahead and run into Leonard Williams on that one play, running to the outside. We've got Sam Gelber coming back in with a $9.99 super chat, going to be driving, but K9 is a keeper. Steelers, because easy to stop. They couldn't run the ball. It's K9 on this game. Really nice day for him. And also wanted to recognize Gambling Goat saying, really didn't think we were going to win this one. Very happy we did. Go Hawks. And thank you, fellas. And yeah, going into this game, it was tough. During this game, even at halftime, it felt like it could go either way. Even to the start of the fourth quarter, as it was tied at him, it felt like it could go either way. And then there was the special teams mistake by the Steelers. The ball gets kicked off. It drops into the landing zone, which means that whether or not the kick returner touches it or not, it's a live football. It falls into the back of the end zone. It's waiting there just at the edge of the end zone. Helani able to drop on it, and they call it a touchdown. Adam, when that happened, what was going through your mind?
First off, I feel bad for the rookie. It's different than college by a good amount. I'm sure he had no idea what the rule was there. I mean, it's his job. You'd think he'd figure it out, but still, that's tough. But heads up play by Helani, and just a gift from the football gods. I mean, that's just such a dumb mistake. And, credit to Helani and the rest of the special teams for having presence of mind to get down there and drop on it. And a real difference maker and a real kind of shot in the arm after a really uneven third quarter where you're wondering where this game's going to go. So what a huge play, a big turning point. And if you're really into free points given to the Seahawks and big turning points and big dubs, please hit the like button while you're here. I see we got 132 people in here. We've been in algorithm hell this week. I don't know. Maybe it's something I said, probably something I said. But if you could do that for us, that'd be huge. But that did feel like the turning point in the game, right, Brandon?
It did. And I was surprised by one thing in particular on that play, is that we did not see more replays of it, because as close as Helani was to the back of the end zone and the way that he recovered the football, it took me back to the 2013 defensive run, like the game against the Colts, where we had a ball that was right in the back of the end zone, and they called it out of bounds because the player's foot happened to be just out of bounds when they said he got control. And that play was not looked at long enough for me to feel super comfortable that it was actually a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. I wanted them to run the next play as quickly as possible. But, it was a huge play and a little iffy in the moment, it felt like. But really, the floodgates kind of opened at that point. I feel like the offense kind of found its footing. It was a little more consistent down the stretch. And for as consistent as the defense was and as good as everything looked and everybody playing on a string, because the pass rush was good all day, but you can't point to any one dude really for the most part. Like, Hall had a nice day, Murphy had a nice day, but they all had a good day together as a unit. The offense felt kind of the complete opposite of that in terms of just kind of a seesaw of good to bad to I like that call to what the hell are we doing? That second drive in the third quarter where they go, after going down and getting the TD after they're running K9 up the gut and Barner gets the TD, and you're like, there it is. That's what we need to be doing for the rest of this game. They come out the next drive after the Kendrick pick, and they go Sharps to the outside, which goes nowhere. Mm-hmm. They try to hit a bomb down the middle of the field and then go empty on the last play, and it's 3 and out. And then to top it off, Dixon has a terrible punt. Right. Like that was a frustrating sequence. And so thank goodness for, the subsequent quarter that really did help kind of put the Seahawks over the top, but uneven out of Kubiak, I thought today.
It was very uneven. I thought there were times where they had the ability to really establish themselves as a physical football team, and then they went the opposite direction. That part was frustrating. Not frustrating, though, was Pepper Horton coming in for a $5 donation saying, how about some love for my distant relative, Tori Horton? And I I want to believe that he's your distant relative as much as I want to believe
He is.
that
Don't question it.
The 5th round pick is going to become our steady wide receiving presence that we're missing by the middle of the season, as Adam said. And it looked like he would become that guy in this game when he caught the first play action pass for a touchdown and got the Seahawks on the board for 7 points. And then he caught another nice pass early on in the game in the first half, and then we didn't see much of him for the rest of the game.
That's right. They kind of were working Cup a little bit more over the middle of the field at that point. But yeah, Torrey Horton had a nice game. It was a nice contributor. Mm-hmm. The TD was actually a lot of fun, and he helped Sam Darnold out with his up and down day. Man, Sam Darnold had some really great throws in there, and the really athletic play to get out of jail on third down late in the game and hit Barner. And then, then you've got like the throw to Cup that was picked off where he kind of has like a quarter pump right before he throws it as he watched Ramsey stumble as Cup came out of his break. If he throws it on that quarter pump, it's a 50-50 ball. If you quarter pump it and then go back to it, now it's a pick. And so that was kind of Sam Darnold's day. Some really, really good stuff. And then some head scratching stuff. It was a bit up and down.
Or like Sanchez said on the broadcast too, even if he does quarter pump it and then he throws it just a little bit deeper, it probably does go over Ramsey with the way that the direction that he took to the football. And then maybe it's a lot longer play, but Sam finishes the day 22 completions on 33 attempts, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 89.8. So a good game from Sam Darnold, and I especially like the fact that he led that touchdown drive at the end of the game. You pointed out probably the most impressive play was him escaping that pressure and then able to deliver that and pick up that long third down.
Oh, heck of a play. And that does show that he has some athleticism. He gets caught on another one with a kind of a shoestring tackle late in the game as he was trying to roll out and avoid pressure as well. I see in the comment here from Seahawks 17, a Dave Craig game. That's pretty apt there. Yeah. And then what has Scott got for us here, Brandon?
Scott Campbell Photography coming in with a $2.99 super chat. What about the block by Gray's Anatomy on the K9 touchdown? How about Gray Zabel on the day? Speaking of up and down days, Gray had some up and down plays throughout, but he did have that block for the K9 touchdown.
He did. Mostly good, a little bad. Again, second game of his career. He looks like he belongs. He's not a FCS bust or whatever it is that Bloomy wants to try to speak into existence.
Bloomy's coming
here,
off that. We can settle down on Bloomy, I think.
I know, but he was so adamant throughout the offseason that we're not going to let it off that easy. Like we're gonna have to stretch that out a little bit here because he earned it. Yeah.
El Cuadrado with the €5.99 K9 shut all the doubters up. Yeah, it was. Hey, I made the point in the Do Better segment this past week on the show that week 1 overreactions, this is why you don't react so strongly to bad games in week 1 of the season. K9 comes out, has a 100-yard game. Woolen comes out and he doesn't have, other than like a 5-yard pass or holding penalty on defense. Like he didn't give up any crazy catches where you're like throwing stuff at the television. No, they didn't have to. They were comfortably in the lead at the end of the game, so they didn't have that opportunity to really target him at the end of the game. But one of the things that was surprising to me, to go back to the defense, and maybe not surprising, but just interesting, I thought that when they brought in Darion Kendrick that they would have him more in that nickel role, but it seemed like they were moving guys all over the field. It wasn't necessarily having Woolen on the outside or having Woolen on one side or having Job on one side or Job only covering DK or Woolen covering DK. Like they moved all 3 of those guys around. And I feel like of the players that I saw in the slot more often, it was Woolen playing out of the slot more often.
Yeah, that was interesting. I had noticed that a little bit, and I'm glad that you made that observation to kind of confirm that was happening more throughout the game than maybe I realized. But you're right. Like Mike getting into his bag there and putting guys all over the place and, playing a little bit more matchup ball maybe. Maybe that's the thought process there. But I just thought Mike's game plan, the way that they shut down the run completely, the way that they kept Rodgers, just maybe not under crazy amount of pressure, but enough siege to make him uncomfortable, just enough to make him have those mistakes that he's prone to as he tries throwing off platform and doing things that he did 20 years ago instead of things that he can do now. And I thought that Mike, through the first part of this year has been excellent with him and Dirty. Like, they've done a great job with the defense. And you can see the consistency of going into year 2. And it's one of those things we talked about last year as the defense came on slowly, finished strong, and being like, hey, this is his history with the Ravens. When it comes year 2, you're going to start to see a more consistent performance out of this unit. And we're seeing that early. And I honestly feel like we're going to get there with Kubiak as well with the offense, because I think some of the unevenness here is a little bit about new personnel, new OC, all that stuff. And I'm excited to see where it goes. There were some frustrating moments with Kubiak today, but there was also some good stuff. And I like the bones of where he's going here. Yeah. And I think it's going to really even out over time.
Gambling Goat coming in as a new member on YouTube. Also supporting us out on Patreon at getintheflock.com. He says, take my Patreon money and my YouTube member money. Hey, we try and make it easy wherever you want to support us. Unintentionally, I didn't realize that it would lead to some people doing both.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to limit you. You can do whatever you'd like. And we do really, really appreciate it. That's awesome.
Coming up this week, we will be talking to Clinton Bonner.
Whoa, hey,
I will be talking to Clinton Bonner, and Marcus Milligan with a $10 super chat saying, can't wait for the brand in. Definitely want to check that out with Clinton as we're going 3 ins, 3 outs. I know Clinton. He is going to have a heck of a time coming up with just 3 ins to go to in this game.
Is he going to be able to come up with any outs knowing Clinton? Like,
he has to. He has to. I mean, if there's any outs in this game, and maybe it's actually in his name, Robbie Oots, at one point in the game, I felt like just decided to take a nap on the turf rather than block the defender coming up the middle. And it is Cam Hayward, so I can't blame him too much, but
he missed that one. I didn't think that's where you were going. He also had that bone-crushing block to spring K9 as well.
See, that's the yin and the yang of 3 in, 3 out. He also had that block to spring K9, and it was an incredible one, pointed out on the broadcast too.
So to Maximus's question here, allowed but maybe not needed and or wanted. Like, I don't think that it would be a plus to 3 in, 3 out. Brendan and Clinton, they crushed that.
Lisa Carlson coming in saying, all I know is this defense is the shiznit, and
yes, the shiznit.
They get it all year long. Oh, it was fun watching them. Because the defense, I did have my doubts that they were going to put as much pressure on Aaron Rodgers as they did, and part of that is his ability to get rid of the ball really quick, but McDonald, Coach Mike, he had that defense prepared and ready to kind of sit on some of the short stuff. And then Rodgers had to hold the ball a little bit longer. And that's when they were able to start collapsing the pocket around him. He tried to get out of it. He was able to get out of it, I think, once early on in the game. But then those lanes tightened up and they were getting to Aaron Rodgers.
They really were. And he didn't have a lot of options to throw the ball to when it all was said and done. I mean, we all like their tight end position, but they didn't seem to really get them involved. And then outside of DK, that wide receiver core is fairly anemic. Roman Wilson is just a dude at best, and Calvin Austin hasn't been good for a while. But DK, it was supposed to be his revenge game, Brandon. 3 catches, 20 yards, and a tutty. But that touchdown was extra annoying for me because it was like, oh, now you're going to high point and catch a contested TD. Sure. Okay. Because I thought Kobe did a nice job in coverage there. He did everything he could do legally. Yeah.
Yeah. Carly Perkins coming in saying, sounds like Sundell was just cramping up, according to Mike. And with the heat out there, it looked like a lot of people were struggling with that heat. And hopefully just cramps for him. But honestly, you could sell me on either one of those guys being center. It's kind of 50-50 to me.
Sure. I think Sundell has acquitted himself nicely early in this season. And then we all know that Olu's a guy who can go out there and perform. He's a league average center. So it's not quite as scary as maybe losing Cross or Abe or something like that. But Yeah, bummer to see him go down. Nice to see Olu come in and not skip a beat. That was super cool.
Got Nate Smeltzer saying Hawkra levels ascending right now. Yeah, I'm feeling it, Adam, especially after this road game in Pittsburgh. David Van Cleve saying this game made me so happy. I'm right there with you, David.
Oh, yeah, it made me super happy. It clearly made some of the 12s that were in attendance happy. Hearing the Seahawks chant permeate throughout Heinz Field, that was super cool. So good job by them. You guys crushed it at the game today, any of you 12s who were out there.
Looking at this offensive disparity between the two teams, the Seahawks 21 first downs on the day compared to 13 first downs for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rushing first downs were about the same, but passing first downs, the Seahawks had 13 compared to the Steelers 6. They only picked up 1 first down from a penalty. Third down efficiency, about the same, 33% for the Steelers. The Seahawks one play better on and getting to 43% on their third down efficiency. 50% on fourth down efficiency. There was one fourth down that they had an opportunity to go for, and they passed on it, Adam. They did. Did you agree with that one?
No. I would have gone for it on that one because your defense had been playing lights out. The offense to that point had been pretty good in their third and fourth down situations. Like, why not go for it? You were close to midfield. I would have gone for it there. What bothered me on fourth down was the play call on the second fourth down that they went for. 4th and 1, I think you're somewhere around the 35, and you get in there with the fullback and the whole thing, and you run play action boot. Like, what? Why? Like, just why? Why would you do that? It makes zero sense, especially when you hear Coach Mike talking his pressers, and he's like, we're going to be who we say we are. We're not going to, run reverses all day and try to trick people and all that. That was the moment. Hand it off. Try to jelly it down their throat. Now, if you don't get it that way, then fine. Like, I can live with that. But ends up being an interception, which I don't put on Sam Darnold at all. That second pick, not his fault. That's all on Kubiak. That's all on Kubiak in that moment.
I don't know if it's entirely on Kubiak.
On him.
Sam could choose to either just go down with it or...
Sure.
He didn't have to throw it into the hands or try and get it over the jumping defender.
All Kubiak's fault.
Hey, if we want to give that first one to Sam and the second one to Kubiak, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
But, the numbers on the day offensively, yardage too, 395 yards to 267 for the Steelers. So, the defense was really able to limit them, and it was the turnovers that really allowed Pittsburgh to be. That was the thing that frustrated me the most at the start of the fourth quarter, is that I felt that our Seahawks had outplayed the Steelers, and yet it was a tie football game, and I'm thinking, gosh, are we gonna be in position to where Aaron Rodgers is going to get him into field goal range because Boswell was money the entire day with all of his long kicks and find a way to lose this on the road when we were in position to win and had the better defense. The offense was working, especially with K9. That would have been particularly frustrating.
It would have been very frustrating because it did feel like the Seahawks were in control most of this game. And time of possession actually kind of bears that out. They did barely win time of possession. I'm sure that skewed a little bit with the end of the game and just kind of how that went down. But
31 minutes for the Seahawks, 28, just under 28 for the Steelers.
Yes, but a massive improvement in comparison to last week where they got doubled up in time of possession. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, yards per pass, almost 8 for the Seahawks, just 5 for the Steelers. And you mentioned it was supposed to be DK Metcalf's revenge game. I was thinking of it being our revenge game on DK because
that's not what you said in the preview. You're rewriting history.
You could take it either way.
Okay.
I said we could get our revenge on DK by goading him into one of his 15-yard penalties, which he nearly did. It just went uncalled early on in the game, and they picked up a first down.
I was going to say, I think they did goad him into one of those penalties, but much like every time we play the Steelers, and we play a team in black and yellow, and then we play a team in black and white as well. That's been the history of this rivalry, and there was a number of calls that kind of went like that, and I really thought DK probably should have been called for probably 2 throughout the game where he was getting a little hot-headed and doing his DK thing. I think as Seahawks fans, there was a little bit of Schadenfreude early in the game watching DK drop his first 2 targets. It was kind of like, oh yeah, that's how that goes.
Yep. Yeah, that was nice to see. So, I'm not going to complain about the officiating in this game. DCH, shush. I'm not rewriting
exactly,
the books.
Doug.
I am pointing to one other thing that I said and leaning a lot harder than I am on the other thing that I said. So there.
Gotcha. All right. So basically, instead of rewriting the books, all you did was hedge the shit out of your opinion early so that you'd be fine later.
That way I can point to the one thing I said that was right and really lean on it. That's just a smart move by me. What are we talking about here?
I'm watching you for the rest of the year now, man. Like I'm hip to your games now.
All right, our Seahawks, they get the win 31-17 over the Steelers. It helps avoid an 0-2 start, the dreaded 0-2 start of the season, Adam.
Absolutely. Although you did hear the announcers talk about how that really maybe isn't quite as bad of a thing as it has been in years past. But with that said, is it better to win or to lose, Brandon?
It's always better to win than lose.
Right. Okay. I always forget, and you always remind me. And huge win for the Seahawks. Another big road victory. Somehow Mike McDonald gets these guys up each and every week when they get out on the road. It was awesome to see. I don't have to eat crap from my nephew all week. And so that's nice. Or my brother-in-law. So thank you to the Seahawks for that.
There you go. But Adam always going to having the smack top game over his younger nephew.
Well, no, I'm not going to rub his nose in it. Like, it's not his fault. He's a young guy. Like, I'm not going to do that to him.
What kind of uncle are you then?
I'm a benevolent one, I'd like to think. Absolutely. But a fun game. And hey, once again, man, if you enjoyed this game, if you really had a good time watching the Seahawks curb stomp the Steelers, then if you could give us a little like ski, a little subscribe ski, it would go a long ways. Because again, I don't know, I said something to the algorithm, it took offense, and we've been in hell this week. And no, because there's no crow to eat. Cup was okay today. He was fine.
In Clinton's
just
words,
wasn't a dumpster fire.
And a call out to everyone watching, you got to goose that algorithm.
Oh yeah, goose it. Get a PR complaint made against you at work and goose something. Yeah, goose that algorithm.
And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.